You have a number of entities that interact with each other, and these entities are very well described. But out of the interactions, a new form appears that is very different from the individual components, and we call that form an emergent or a new phase.
A water molecule is a very simple object, two hydrogen atoms and an oxygen atom. You could study a water molecule for the rest of your life, and many people do, in fact, in physics, understanding all the properties of the specific molecule. But there's nothing in that study that would ever give you the idea that at some point, if you heat up liquid water, there will come a transition when suddenly it will turn into a gas.
Examples goes from the typical and very classical example of ants colony, in which ants have are able to develop large and sophisticated forms of collective behavior just by simple signals among the individual ants. Two other examples that are like the internet as a global system. We know that the internet doesn't have a blueprint or a master control or anyone that really can be planning for the internet as a whole. However, we have at the end of the day a system that basically works day by day, that involves millions of users, and that's for sure the outcome of an emergent phenomenon in which many interacting agents are able at the end to create a collective ordering for the system that merge technical and market and social behavior in something that works in every business day.
Well, it's quite clear that language is an emergent phenomenon. There is no global control, there is no prior design, there's nobody that can influence directly the language that's being used by others.
The formation of lanes of uniform walking direction in counter streams of pedestrians is one example where we have a more fluent organization or something even like a collective intelligence based on local interactions. Another example is the emergence of cooperation in situations where people have competitive interactions, or even the creation of social norms.
As Tom Schelling showed in his classic work in the 1970s, mild preferences to be with at least others who are not dramatically unlike yourself can lead to systems that are sharply segregated by a variety of characteristics.
I don't have to know anything about you other than the fact that your friend's friend's friend is happy or your friend's friend's friend is obese, and it increases the likelihood that you'll be the same way because you live in these clusters that we would never have known about if we hadn't seen the whole network all at once.
Financial markets are much more than just, let's say, the place where people buy and sell. Because, I mean, of course, you go to in a financial market just to buy and sell. But in the end, you see that during time, it involves a lot of specialization of the different actors.
Even in the beginning of the Christian and Jewish Bible, and also the books of many other cultures, the concept that order can spring out of chaos is inspiring. In the case of my research, the most dramatic example is water. That if you, for example, cool water and freeze it in the freezer, then the water molecules, which are completely moving around almost randomly in the liquid, suddenly become ordered in a very precise array.
Scientifically speaking, there is no precise definition of emergence. There is nothing we can actually measure. So that would actually say, here is an emergent property. However, just about every system where there is something new appearing is actually called emergence. It's really hard to define what it is. It's a bit like pornography. You know when you see it, but it's really difficult to find a precise definition of what it means and how you see it.